talk a little bit about our top 5 running backs and where we kind of differ. And I think we have to run through the first 5 guys before we dive into it. Sky's top 5. If you haven't checked out the previous episodes, Jahmyr Gibbs, Barkley, Hall, and Robinson. Then, of course, the king of himself, CMC. My top 5, Gibbs, Kyron, Bijan, Breece Hall, and CMC. Where we kind of differ here is the Breece Hall versus Bijan. You have Bijan at 2. I have Breece Hall at 2. We have them flipped. So we love them both. But what gives Bijan the edge in your opinion?
It's the offense overall, and I can't say upside because they both have upside to the moon for sure. Mm-hmm. But right now, even coming in early, I think I'm more confident that Kirk Cousins and this offense entirely in the run game and overall is going to be better off than the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be very good. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they're going to be fine. If the Bills and Dolphins miss a step, they might even win the division. But I just think that Bijan Robinson has an ability to turn short plays into long plays. I know Bijan does that as well, but I think that they're going to be a little more pass heavy than I think the Falcons will be personally. And I think a lot of that is going to run through Bijan Robinson. Arthur Smith is gone, so they have a new opportunity for him to be there. I mean, he was 23rd in explosive rate last year, 17th in yards after contact, 25th in yards per route run in fantasy. Those are all not good stats. But so much of that had to do with the opportunities he was given and lack of opportunities. Plus, he didn't have quarterback play. Now, most of the conversation you could make for Bijan Robinson, you could literally just copy and paste for Breece Hall, which I've done. Again, Bob, we're talking 2 and 3 right now, right? Like, if Christian McCaffrey didn't exist, you and I are talking about who's your number 1 running back versus the guy right behind him. That's what we're talking about. So I love Breece Hall. Breece Hall is going to be a target. Obviously, he could be the number 1 running back in fantasy football. Bijan Robinson could be that guy also as well. I think the offense in general is going to be better for Atlanta than it will be for the Jets. I think the division is easier in general for the Falcons than it will be for the Jets. More indoor games, which I think benefits him than it will for the Jets. So it's very, very close for me. But pass catching ability, if they can stick with him and actually utilize this guy like they should, I think that Bijan Robinson will be the number 1 coming out behind Christian McCaffrey right now. So he's number 2 for me. But again, no hate on Breece Hall at all. But I got to put somebody at 2 and somebody at 3. Right now, Bijan has the nod.
For me, when it comes down to it, there's a history behind, and I wanted to just pull this up because I want to be legit. But if you look at the last few seasons between Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers when they were healthy. So, like, I tried to go back as far as I could, but, like, if you look at Fantasy Pros data, 2019 to 2022, of course, last year we didn't have – both these guys got hurt. But if you just, like, isolate the receptions and the targets guys were getting. So if you look at the Minnesota seasons for Dalvin Cook. So he doesn't – of course, Dalvin Cook never played a full freaking season. Dalvin Cook missed 2 games every year, essentially. But he's like 60 – it was 49, 63, 54, 49, 39 targets, okay? You know, all right. Then you look at Aaron Jones, 68, 63, 65, 72. So, like, about 10, maybe to 15 more targets going to his RB1. And I think when you look at the data overall, it does favor that the Packers under Aaron Rodgers did target their running backs. And Nathaniel Hackett is coming from that same scheme. So that that offense, by the way, is going to target their running backs relentlessly. Now, I know Zach Robinson is coming from the Rams, who just produced Kyron Williams. But I do think that Tyler Algier is going to be a more involved RB2 than anything the Jets have. I know the Jets just drafted a stud. Was it Braylon Allen or something like that?
He's a beast, by the way.
Yeah, he looks like a beast. But I just feel like the other thing when we saw Breece Hall last year, if you look at the games over the second half especially, he became the bell cow. They got rid of Dalvin Cook. They cut that out. They basically gave him the keys to the castle. And if you look at the history of Aaron Jones almost averaged 20 PPR points, and he wasn't even the full-time guy like Breece Hall was. So I just feel more confident in a PPR format that Breece Hall is going to get more targets. And I also, by the way, we can say what you want, but Kirk Cousins is coming off a very serious injury that he suffered halfway through the year. Aaron Rodgers has at least a handful of months on him in recovery. And the other thing is Aaron Rodgers knows this offense like the back of his hand. Kirk Cousins is learning a new offense. Technically, Kevin O'Connell and Zach Robinson both come from the Rams, but there's new terminology. It's a new scheme, a new players. So I just think the continuity of the Jets gives me a slight favor for Breece Hall. Well, folks, that's pretty much the big argument today. Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. Is it Breece Hall or is it Bijan Robinson? Vote. Let us know and leave a comment. Do you have somebody else at number 2? And make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel.